Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GABNET, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Facebook group called Star Trek Discovery. Somebody posted, this was the worst episode ever. It was just a bunch of people on the ship talking. and I just have to say...
Have they not seen Star Trek before?
Yeah, I just have to say, if you are looking for action and explosions, you are likely to be disappointed by Star Trek. May I recommend another viewing of Star Wars?
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern. Join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
So I just had to bear it as it was trying to heal. And then I would be sleeping on my stomach, and then I would turn around, and it had adhered itself to the sheets. And so whatever scab I had, are you ready for this, folks? Whatever scab I had would get ripped off, and I'd be bleeding like a stuck pig. And so I had to finally, you couldn't put a Band-Aid on it. You know, it was in a place you just had to wait for it to finally take care of itself.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
Well, you know, we have to get rid of Pence as well, because Pence is an end-timer.
You know, and we need to say to Pence, you know, you're damn right. I want a rapture because I want fools like you off of my planet.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
The Jesus guy in San Francisco, when you go down 19th Avenue, the guy with the pink phone.
Okay.
I know you met him before. I know you've seen him before.
Okay, what about him?
The one that says... when you're walking down the street, he walks up to you with a pink phone and he says, Jesus is on the phone.
Oh, okay. All right.
And he tries to hand it to you, and you're like, wait a second. Now he's walking around with Jimmy Garoppolo's on the phone. You gotta answer.
Finally, you can get hot and bothered on Connections at 10 p.m. Eastern Monday, and by delay Tuesday through Friday at 1 a.m. Eastern.
So, Lizzie, you say you never cheated in a relationship.
Nope.
But you do understand cheating. And I'm pretty sure you may have done that in some way, shape, or form, just not in the relationship. You ever cheat on a test? You ever cheat on your diet?
Yeah, my pregnancy.
Yeah. I failed.
Dang it! It says no.
Last test I took, I failed.
Two tests you don't want positive, right? HIV and pregnancy.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GABNET. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Reasons why you tune into GABNET. Reason number 29, the Citizen Panel.
I'm saying that he could actually, a good lawyer might be able to make a case that he cannot get a fair trial anywhere in the United States because the President of the United States said, quote, he should be executed. And if you can't find a fair jury anywhere in this country because they've all been exposed to this.
No, he'll never go to trial if he's treated as an enemy combatant.
He's not being treated as an enemy combatant, Phil.
He's basically a citizen. He has a green card. He has all the rights that a citizen of the United States has because he has a green card. Either you want to follow the Constitution of the United States or not. Go to Russia if you don't want to follow the rules.
He said that he did this for ISIS. He had a note in his thing. He had phone call on his cell phone, and he says that he did it for ISIS. Therefore,
okay, so Phil, if you did that, you should be able to be treated as an enemy combatant.
I think so.
GABNET. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to gabnet.net for more. GABNET. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Follow the bouncing ball. Hey everybody, here I am. I'm Alex Bennett, and this is the Ramble. It goes on from now until I don't know. It goes on until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. If you're anywhere in the world and you look at your clock and it says that it's maybe 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time on the East Coast of the United States, then you're probably listening to this live. I mean, if you're in China, I think there's a 12-hour difference in China now. In fact, the whole country of China, has the same time zone. So it would be about 6 after 10 in the morning in China. Okay? So just adapt for that, and you can tell whether it's live or not. And if it's not live, then you're listening to a rebroadcast on our 24/7-hour feed, which you, by the way, can access by going to gabnet.net. You just click on the thing that says, what does it say? I can't even remember what it says. Anyway, it says something about click here to get our 24/7 feed, and you click on that, and you can just hear the signal anytime you want to, or you can do that on your iPhone, or you can go to TuneIn on your iPhone or your iPad in order to get us live. What I say live is it's the live feed. It's the 24/7 feed that we do that is going constantly. Okay, so this is my program, followed by Damien's program, followed by Bennett, and over and over and over again, an endless cycle until we go live again at like 9:30 at night most nights with Damien and the exchange. By the way, you should be listening to Damien. It's such a great show, such a good show, and he doesn't do much to promote it and so on, and we try to give it a plug here and there. But I really want you to listen to it because, to begin with, he's the lead-in to us, and we like a nice, good lead-in of audience. And he's really terrific. He's just terrific, and does a great job. Anyway, let me see here. What else is new? I got something I'm going to play for you. Let me tell you what I did. I was trying to think of ways to promote the show. Okay, get a little internet savvy. And the one thing that I realized is biggest on the internet is our short programs. That people, here we've got 2 hours, and people, if they want to enjoy it, have to sit in for the long haul. Now, maybe if you're driving to work and it's a long commute, hey, it's a good way to pass your time away by tuning us in on our 24/7 feed or on any of the number of feeds we have. If you're driving around right now and you can get the internet in your car, it's not a bad thing to listen to for a couple of hours. But a couple of hours is by today's standards, exceptionally long, okay? Because what really goes over now are 3, 4, 5-minute shows, right? And a good example would be that on Sunday on Family Guy, it's a whole show about the internet and so on, and they come up with the 6-second show, and they do a show in 6 seconds. And it becomes a major hit on the internet. Just becomes viral. The 6-second show. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that, we don't have the same attention span that we once had. There used to be a thing years ago, a joke. It was on some comedy show, and it was called Short Attention Span Theater. And it, assumed an attention span of maybe 10, 15 minutes. Today, you got to assume an attention span of something like 3 or 4 minutes. And if you look at the stuff that's the biggest hit on the internet in the way of podcasts and so on, they're very short. They just, they're in, they're out, and nobody gets hurt. And that's something I'm not used to. I'm used to a long form. I don't know what I would do if you gave me like 3 minutes. Okay, I mean, I'd probably figure something out. But it's not what I was trained to do. I was trained to run the marathon. Okay, I wasn't trained to run the 100-yard dash. And there is that difference, So I decided I should come up with something of a short form every day that I could use to promote the show and that might get me some viewers. Now, lately, what I do is I post this show on Facebook, and I post it on YouTube, and I post it on Roxio, or Vimeo rather. Roxio, oh, that's an old company. Vimeo. I post it on Livestream, and all of those. I get, not a lot of. I used to get more people when I was doing Facebook, because for some reason Facebook people will always just try it, and they might move on to something else when their attention span is waned. But when I put these things up on my Facebook page, maybe I'm getting like 40 or 50 people, maybe tops, that are watching these things. And today, what was it on one of the shows? In fact, I've considered not even posting them at all. It's a waste of my time. But 41 people watched one of them, and then the other one was watched by. Hold on a second. For some reason, Facebook is very slow today. I don't know if you've noticed that. Boy, am I glad we're not doing our show on Facebook. Here we go. Another one, 27 and 41, okay, for the same basic video. And that's it, for people who watched it on my Facebook page. Boy, this Facebook page is really screwed. Amazing. Boy, I've got to reboot that. Anyway, and then I put up my thingy. I put up this new thing that I did, which is only 10 minutes long, and I'm almost at 100 views, and that's in a period of 8 hours. Okay, but nevertheless, it's 100 views, and it'll probably get up to about 120, 130. Yesterday, I think it got up to about 140. And all it is a very simple show, okay? And people go, oh, well, I'll watch that. Yesterday's was 6 minutes. Today's was 10 minutes. And I'm wondering if maybe I should shorten it a bit, that I'm taking too long with it. And the basic idea behind it is I do headlines. I just do the news. I do all the headlines of the day, make a quick comment, go on to the next headline, just short one-paragraph headlines. And then I throw in, hopefully, if I can find one, a picture of some sort for the day. Yesterday it was Mitt Romney in his Amazon tuxedo, and today it was, well, you'll see what it is in a moment. And so I did it all, and it came out to 10 minutes. And really, I that's too long. I want it to be more like 6 minutes. But we're working on it. We're working on it, folks. What I thought I'd do to start off the show tonight is show you today's episode so you can see what you get. I'm going to try and knock one of these off every day, but I've been getting rather flustered at the fact that people don't seem to be watching the Ramble that much. I mean, there are certain areas I can't check out, but it's not huge, and a lot of it has to do because we went to YouTube, and YouTube does not have with Facebook. When you do a show, on the walls of everybody's thing, it says Alex is doing a show now, he's live, and that goes out to about 5,000 people I've got, or maybe it just goes out to the followers, which is like 1,700. But then after the show is over, when I look, I've got something like 300 people who watch the show. With YouTube, I'm lucky if it gets up to 100, okay? Because apparently there isn't something that tells everybody, hey, Alex is about to go on YouTube. So that's our problem. But anyway, so where am I? So let me. So I decided to do the short show, and see if we can build an audience for that, and what will happen with that. And I thought I would let you see today's episode, since I'm lazy and have nothing else better to do with this first half hour. So here is what our daily podcast looks like. Hi, everybody. This is Alex Bennett, and it's time for our daily news break. Here I am. How are you? This little thing we're doing every day, kind of just a shorty, going to be like about 5 minutes long, maybe 6 minutes long. And just tell you what some of the daily news items are, and then also to play a clip from last night's show and a few other little things. But it's time to look at the news right now. President Donald Trump said Thursday his meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will take place in June. That's about a month from now. The highly anticipated meeting between Kim Jong-un and himself will take at the place in Singapore. They were looking for a lot of different places to do it. The DMZ was completely out of the question, I guess, for one reason or another. So Kim Jong-un is going to have to travel outside of his comfort zone and go to Singapore, which is about as neutral a place as you can find. He says, we will both try to make it a very special moment for world peace. If you think about it, Kim Jong-un is getting exactly what he wanted. He held on to those prisoners as collateral. And when he needed them, he let them go. And as I said yesterday, 3 less mouths to feed in Korea in a country that's starving is not a bad idea. So basically, so far, Trump is being played for a chump, or the Trump chump, as we'd like to call him. The announcement comes after 3 Americans detained in North Korea arrived at Andrews Air Force Base on Thursday morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and the president was there. I guess this man never sleeps, or either that or he's awake all night and is a vampire. Anyway, 28 more illnesses caused by E. coli outbreak tied to the tainted romaine lettuce were reported by U.S. health officials on Wednesday. So far, a total of 149 cases caused by a particularly virulent strain of E. coli, which usually comes from like animal crap, have been reported. So keep away from the romaine lettuce. I think they say most of it came out of, if I remember correctly, out of Arizona. But, how do you know when you're shopping at the store? Probably if you go to the store, they don't have romaine lettuce right now because nobody's buying it. Senate Democrats and a single Republican moved to force a vote to restore net neutrality protections on Wednesday. A group of senators led by Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Edward J. Markey of Massachusetts filed a discharge petition necessary to trigger a vote to overrule the Federal Communications Commission decision to revoke the Obama-era protections. Revoking net neutrality means that my little show like this might not get to you quite as easily as it used to, because certain people will be given preference to the use of the internet, which I like to think of as a wholly democratic, probably the most democratic and egalitarian system that we have in this country, and we got to fight for net neutrality, okay? The Ford Motor Company announced Wednesday it's temporarily going to halt the production of F-150s. That's one of the most popular cars. It's a truck, and due to a U.S. factory's fire at one of its parts suppliers. One of the parts suppliers had a fire, and they can't get the parts for the damn thing. The production will be suspended at Ford plants in Dearborn, Michigan, Kansas City, Missouri, and at the company's plant in Louisville, Kentucky. Production will be decreased. It's not yet clear whether the F-150 production will ever return to normal levels, but I guess we'll find out. And by the way, California always likes to lead the pack, and they do a wonderful job of it. They like to lead the pack in just all the things that are right. They got pot out there, and they want to take care of immigrants, and it's a good state. I'm glad I'm from there. I wish I were back there, because at least they have a humane quality to them, all under Pat Brown, who is very much a humanist. California became the first state to require all new homes to be built with solar panels Wednesday after a vote by the state's Energy Commission. Hooray for California. They voted 5-0 to add a requirement to the state's building code. It goes into effect January 1st, 2020, and includes all condominiums and apartment buildings up to 3 stories high. So this means solar panels, folks, solar panels. It's a step forward, let's face it. And the picture today that we have for you This is almost eerily spooky. You would think that this, in fact, were the happy royal couple that are about to be married, Prince Harry and Mrs. Markle, or Ms. Markle, and this is them. But no, it's not them. This is the version of them at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in London. Looks eerily good, doesn't it? Usually those wax museum figures don't look as realistic as this, but there they are. And congratulations to them and the happy couple who are going to be getting married soon. Last night on the Ramble, we got into a whole discussion for most of the show about all the ways in which our lives are being impacted and interrupted by things like robocalls and things on the internet. Like I commented that Facebook, it's great at going after the Russians, but it doesn't do anything about the fact that how many times on your messenger, on Facebook, have you gotten a notice recently that from some friend saying, hey, go do this thing, and it's some kind of like commercial thing. I did this and it's terrific. And then you go to that, and then of course, then you get a hold of your friend. You say, "Did you send me this thing?" And then he goes, "No, I never sent that to you." I've had several people write me and say, "Did you get this message about some kind of offer that you liked?" And I've said, "No, I didn't do that. I didn't send that to you." Why doesn't Facebook do something about that? They go after the Russians, okay? They're going to hurt us less than these people who are trying to scam us, okay? And by the way, I have 500 people as friends on Facebook. I'm only allowed 500, so nobody else can get on. If you go under 500, all of a sudden you're getting requests to be friends with a bunch of hookers. Facebook doesn't do anything about that, so that was my major complaint last night. But, our old friend Patrick had a way of solving the whole damn thing.
What I've done, you guys know that I've done the porn orgasm thing in the past.
What? Well, explain that to them, because they're all looking at you with quizzical looks.
Well, I use a fart.
And by the way, every guy hands above the table while he tells his story. Okay.
I know that I've told this one in the past, that what I've done on a few of these idiots that call for either the IRS or whatever it is I tell them, just a minute, let me go talk with my girlfriend, and then I will put on my computer. I found some free sounds or whatever, and a woman having an orgasm. So I have that stored as a file. And what I do is I put my phone down right by the speaker on the computer, hit play, and let the orgasm go through, and and eventually they hang up.
Oh, eventually they hang up. And that was our cut from our show last night. Patrick is always an absolute delight, and we love having him here whenever we can. By the way, want to remind you that we are live every night with the Ramble from, let's see here, from 10 until midnight. And you can find it if you want to watch it by going to youtube.com/Bolo Bennett live /live. That's the address right there. Okay. And if you put that, if you actually go to that page, you can make it a tab on your browser, and it'll be there all the time. And if you notice on that page, there's a countdown to the next show. When the next show goes on, that page will automatically become active with the show. So if you want to watch the Ramble tonight, that's a good way to do it. We're also on Roku, of course, and we're also posting this on our show on the Facebook page and on YouTube itself after the shows are over. But if you want to see it live, that's where you go each and every night. and we'll really love having you as a viewer. We're very appreciative of anybody that wants to be a viewer. Anyway, we hope you'll join us. And by the way, while you're at YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. That's a great deal of help to us. That's it for right now. We have no more, and we'll see you again tomorrow with another Alex Bennett News Break. And that's what it looks like. There are a couple of problems that we had. Number one was with the audio on the clip of the group, but that's because I had something switched wrong. But that'll be solved tomorrow. And let's see here. And I also made, oh God, a big mistake. I said I had 500 viewers, followers on not followers, but friends on my Facebook page, and that was the most you could have. Actually, I meant to say 5,000. But I'm an old man, and I make mistakes like that, and fuck you. Okay, so but there were only 2 mistakes on that, and I kind of was happy with that one today. And as it develops, I'll probably start having more fun with the news. And I do want to make it just a tad shorter. I want to make it so you go there and you got 6-7 minutes, and that's it. You get all the major headlines of the day or interesting stories. Yeah, maybe we get a little photo in there of something weird or goofy, and then whatever. So that's our little thing we're doing now, and it's called the Alex Bennett News Break, and we will try and do it every single day. It's going to be a little hard because some days during the middle of the day I'm doing an interview with like Bubs or my wife or whatever. But I'll just have to learn to do things maybe a little earlier, I guess. I don't know, and get them up earlier, and do the show, this little thing earlier. But whatever. I'm going to try and do it every day. But I want to make it shorter. I do want to make it shorter than that. But I liked that it was long this time because I didn't have to worry about spending a lot of time talking right now. Anyway. Let me see here. Let me open up Skype first of all, and I got to get rid of some of the people that were on last night. Clear that up, and then I got I wish the other shows would clean up Skype after they're through using it, but they don't. So I have to. Let me see here. Let me turn on the Skype. There we go. Now it's online, and I have more people that I have to erase from this thing. Okay, there we go. All righty. Okay, we're ready to go. If you're ready to go and you're ready to call us, we'll know when the first person is calling because we'll get that familiar Skype sound of somebody calling. If you want to call us, by the way, on the phone, there is a phone number, and it's over there at gabnet.net, and I'll read it to you, but if you ever want it, just go over to the right-hand side of the page. The bottom is a number, and it's 347-352-0079. 347-352-0079. That way you can use the telephone. We'd prefer you use Skype, and if you want to learn how to use Skype, just go to gabnet.net. Over on the right-hand side of the page is a very simple tutorial to tell you how to put it on your computer, how to fire it up, and how to give us a call. And speaking of people giving us a call, our first caller of the night, ladies and gentlemen, and the winner of the microwave oven is there he is.
I wanted the toaster.
You wanted the toaster?
Yeah, I'll call back.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry, but you don't get the toaster, okay?
Yeah. That's the story. That's the story of my life.
So, how are you this evening, my friend?
Good. I had a nice dinner out with another friend and Faye.
Yeah.
We went to Hercules, and they're serving up raw oysters, buck and oyster. So we got 2 dozen oysters and a couple of salads and
a buck and oyster.
Buck and oyster, and they're nice big oysters. Different kinds.
Do you know something though? You may not know this, but oysters have the ability to hear sound. Did you know that?
No, they are they being counted as listeners at Gabnet now?
Well, yeah, but you know what kind of noise annoys an oyster?
No, tell me.
A noisy noise annoys an oyster. I always like that. For some reason, I don't do that. I always like that, you know.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
one of my favorite. It's the only oyster joke I know.
That's why you got the
Yeah, okay, here we go. Oops. Oh, there we go. There's Jeff. Hello, Jeff.
I want Phil's camera.
You want Phil's camera? Why your camera?
I have a standard. It's a Logitech, I think 930C or something.
No, it's a 630C.
No, it's the one for the Mac. It's the 920 or 930C.
One for the Mac. They're all for the Mac. They all work on the Mac.
I bought it at the Mac store. The guy said this is. I don't want to scare anybody.
By the way, your light is fluctuating like crazy, Jeff, because you've got that light in back of you. You know, if you could turn your camera a little bit so that the light isn't in, the other way. The other way. There we go. Then we can see you. Now, if you could move into that center of that picture, then everything would be fine. Is there a way you can do that? Yeah, you're in a
On that side good?
Huh?
Is the left side good?
The left side is well. No, there we got more lights. Just do it right there, right there. No, move back.
I'm gonna turn the light up.
Okay, turn that one off. Okay, yeah, because what it does is because you've got what you've got to do, folks. Many times is I think there is a thing you can use in your camera that will tell it how not to go for the brightest light or whatever. But that's fine.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect. Oops. Yeah. Oh, getting a headache here from the noise and the sound.
You want another rim shot?
No, I don't need another rim shot. So just when I'm getting tired of working this thing too much, I suddenly give myself another duty.
Well, I liked it. I actually listened to it earlier. It was posted on YouTube earlier this afternoon, and it gave a notification.
Yeah.
And I listened to it and watched it off and on the way to in the car on the way to the restaurant.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it was a good interview. And then as I was getting back here, I knew I was a little bit late. I figured, all right, let me see what's going on. And it was the same thing I had listened to. So I
yeah. But I thought
full participation.
I thought I'd play it for people. It sets up the show anyway, so
Yeah. The only issue is that it didn't come from the Honorary Meyer studio.
No, I still have yet to get that working right. I tested it the other day, but what I've got is a problem in there with my speed on the internet.
Because it's wireless?
Well, it is wired, but the wire I put in originally was a lower speed wire than the one I probably should have going in there now. And I didn't wire everything to begin with going out of this router into other switchers that is at a higher speed. So it becomes a bit of a problem, So, for instance, I didn't have any problem doing the show and getting the video out and all of that. But when it came to Skype, I was getting a lot of lag and stuff like that. So,
I see.
I still got to work things out in that studio.
Would you be using Skype to do that recording since you don't have anybody calling in?
Well, yeah, no. That recording. No, I could do that one in there.
Yeah.
That's just doing a recording basically. But it's easier for me to do it in here. Everything's in here. I have all the things set up so that I have a whole, on OBS, it allows you to have different sessions. And so I set up one for the news that has all the images that I use in the news and all the components I use in the newscast. So.
And of course, you can have your green screen in the.
I'm not getting a fucking green screen. Where would I put it, Phil?
Well, you put it against the wall.
No, you know how far back that wall is from me? How big a green screen I would have to put up? And then my question is, once I put up the green screen, I have to take it down every time I want to leave the room.
Put it on grommets, get a couple of hooks that go in the wall, and you just hang it.
I don't want it. It's too much trouble. Why? What am I going to do with it?
Yeah. Well, then you'd have a real professional podcast.
No, podcasts aren't supposed to be professional. Okay? They really aren't. I mean, what is simpler or better than a podcast, you know?
That's said by the Emmy Award-winning...
No, I mean, I think simplicity is much more important. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what would I do with what would I do with a green screen? What would I put back there?
There's a guy that makes podcasts that does
I don't give a shit what other people do.
And
I don't give a shit. Did you hear me? I don't give a shit what other people do.
It's not my friend. It's somebody else I know, but I don't.
I still don't give a shit what other people do.
All right, but his podcasts are the most professional.
Wonderful. Then they're TV. Go do TV. Go put them on a TV station somewhere. I mean, what I was doing originally when I was doing it out of my friend's studio was as professional a looking show as you could possibly do.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You know, but it wasn't a podcast. It didn't have the simplicity, you know.
Why should a podcast be simple?
Because, I mean, it basically, well, to begin with, one of the reasons I just mentioned to you, that if you're too long, if you go too long, I mean, the shorter you are, the more people you're going to get watching. I just hit 100 people on that little stupid thing I did at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
I don't know if that's true. I'm 5'8", and I don't get a lot of people watching.
What?
You said the shorter you are.
No, the shorter the casts are, the podcasts are.
Okay.
You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Are you still 58? Are you still 5'8"?
You know, I probably shrunk a half an inch or so. Although I'm close enough. I still claim 5'8", just like you know, guys who claim MS-13.
Yeah. But you know, so but all I'm saying is that I think that I'm looking to actually make a thing shorter. I really want it to be like, I want it to come in at no more than 6 minutes. The one yesterday was 6 minutes. Then
so what would you do with it? You wouldn't put it on this show. You'd just stick it up on the
right,
YouTube?
Right. It just goes up on YouTube. It's kind of a promotion for this show, you know, and for Gabnet in general. You know, so yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if it gets any kind of traction. I doubt it, but at least I'm getting, you know, over 100 people a day that watch it, which is more than watching this show when I put it on my Facebook page. I'm thinking of stopping posting my show on the Facebook page. Be honest with you.
No reason to stop it, unless it takes time, too much time for you to post it.
Any time is too much time in my life right now. You know, as the days in your life start waning, every minute that you spend doing something else is a minute left not living.
Did you notice that when you were a kid, summers took forever? Years took forever.
What do you mean summers took forever? When I was a kid, summer was the place when we didn't have school, and before you knew it, you know.
Well, I found that time went much slower as I was younger. Maybe it's the proportionate amount of life that I'd lived.
Yeah.
But now years go by in a flash, and they're going by faster and faster.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to do nothing so they go by slower. You know, so I get bored. Who? SG? Hello.
Oh, he's called before.
What?
He's called before.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to remember what SG stands for. It's somebody we know.
He said his name is just SG.
SG? Is your name just SG?
Yeah, SG.
AskG?
SG.
SG.
No, not AskG. SG.
Well, listen,
Like
we know you work out. Now, can you show us what the results of that are by showing us your picture?
Yeah, sure. Later.
Just turn your camera on.
Just turn your camera on.
All right.
All right.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Hello. How are you doing, Phil? You doing good? How about you, Jeff? You doing all right?
Jeff,
blah, blah,
what
blah,
are those
blah.
pieces of art behind you? They like Roman archways and English doors and things like that?
That's Pratt Institute in New York.
Yeah.
And in Brooklyn. And my son's an architect.
SG. Oh, look, SG's flexing for us, ladies and gentlemen.
For the ladies.
For the ladies, something for the ladies tonight, ladies and gentlemen. SG, show them that peck again, or that whatever it is. That's you do work out though, huh?
I do work out, yeah.
Why do you work out? Because I have a philosophy that I've lived by, and it served me okay because I'm 78 years old. And don't have too much wrong with me, knock on wood at this time, that if you don't use your body, it won't wear out.
Hey, you know what? It's interesting that you say that because on The Apprentice, when Trump said to Lou Ferrigno, the reason you're have so many problems is because you work out. So you and Trump have a lot in common.
Well, in that respect, I kind of agree with him because everybody I know, like girlfriend, my wife, she'd go, if she weren't working, she'd be in the gym every day. Okay, and she used to like to run, and she bicycled, and she did all of that. Guess what? Fucking back is ruined. Okay, her back is like this mangled mess, which she's managed to somehow survive with.
Aren't you supposed to say that her back is ruined for other reasons?
Yeah, but they got to her before I did. Anyway,
on the way to dinner tonight.
Yeah.
I had at 3:30 this afternoon. I had a special chiropractor give me an adjustment. This Nuka chiropractor upper cervical. I was feeling pretty good. On the way to dinner, I'm stopped at a red light, and this guy rear ends me. It was very, very slow. He didn't do any damage to my car or his car, but I got jolted. And I said to him, I just spent $115 for a chiropractic adjustment, and now you slam me in the rear. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry."
But wait a minute. If this is what I hate about chiropractic. I always argue with girlfriends. She wants me to go to this chiropractor because of my numb feet. Okay, that he can do a manipulation that will help take care of that. Right?
Yes, he can.
Right, but first I have to go get like an X-ray or something.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I guess that's so it gets him off the hook or something.
No.
I don't know.
No. It's so he can see what's going on with your spine and see whether you have any other damage.
Well, my question is, number one,
him damaging you.
Why isn't this so-called doctor, this chiropractor, why doesn't he have the ability to order up something as simple as an X-ray? Why do I have to go to my doctor and have my doctor order up the X-ray?
That's simple. He doesn't have the machine.
No, it isn't a question he doesn't have the machine. I had to go to my regular doctor to have him make out the prescription for me to get the X-ray for the chiropractor.
That might be a New York thing.
Let me tell you. When I go to the gym and I'm on an incline bench, and I'm doing some with dumbbells, I can feel my back just.
You talking about us again?
Huh?
Dumbbells. You talking about us again?
Yeah. I can feel my back go, and it's beautiful. And it's just like,
Would you give us that sound again?
That is my chiropractor, and it's just great. Well, it just works for me.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is that then she comes home the other day and she was sick or something. So her chiropractor gave her some pills to take, one every hour. And I look at the bottle and it says, dietary supplement. I'm sorry. If I got a pain, I want to go to somebody who can give me some good stuff to really make me feel like it doesn't hurt.
No kidding. Yeah.
I have a little tooth problem lately. I take the ibuprofen. Everything's fine. I take a vitamin and it doesn't get any better.
There's a deal in our family where one of our members took too much ibuprofen and then got ulcers.
Really? Well, ulcers, yep. I take the real heavy ibuprofen. My problem was I got a kidney stone. Basically, it can give you kidney stones. But right. I only take it when I really need it, so,
You take the 800s?
Yeah. Yeah.
The codeine?
The whole... No. No, because I don't like, it's funny. I don't like getting high that much any longer. Okay.
I have a friend of mine who gets edibles from Colorado, and he says it's a 12-hour high.
Well, I want one. If I'm going to get high, I want to know that in an hour I'm going to be able to clear my head and go do
No,
something.
but the thing with edibles is that it takes about an hour or two or so to actually get into your system. So most people who are impatient want to do this, and all of a sudden you're like just
because they've taken too much. Well, I don't like the edibles. My wife got some of the chocolates from California. Okay, I won't say who sent them to her, but so I went, okay, well, I'll have one. And she says, okay, and here's 2 pieces. And she takes off 2 pieces, and I down one of them. And as you say, it takes a while for it to take effect, so I figured, I'll take the other one. I was so fucking high. I should have only taken like a quarter of 1 square, okay? And I'm telling you, it was the most uncomfortable high I've ever had. Off an edible.
Tuesday, it'll be feel-free because I'm going to the Throckmorton Theater with a friend of mine's wife. My friend passed away last year, and Sophie and I, and we're going to dinner. And then the Throckmorton, she lives in Mill Valley. She told me that this week she went into San Francisco and she bought some edibles. She said they were like chocolate-covered raisins and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I warned her against eating too many. And, I would just eat it.
If you ever get an edible, folks, just try a portion of it, just a really small portion of it. So then wait a couple hours to see how high you get. And if you feel you're not high enough, then take another little portion. But find out how your body reacts to it. But I felt very uncomfortable. I was just so zonked out and so... I didn't like the smokable. I know how much I'm doing, and it's pretty immediate, and I can gauge all of that.
Do you think it's because you hadn't gotten high in a while or that often that the edibles hit you that way?
I didn't like the way the edibles.
One is through your respiratory system. One is through your bloodstream, and so it's. It's totally different in how your body takes that and gets that feeling. Because if you do a bong, you're going to get high like in a couple minutes, and right away, sort of. If you do an edible, it's an hour or two. You got to just be patient with it.
What was that thing?
By the way, on the show that I put up today, I'm up to 102.
Wow.
On this one and about another 40 on YouTube.
You better take an aspirin before your fever gets any higher,
or an edible.
Yeah, but I know. So what I'm saying is that it really, I get more viewership on something like that. In fact, we picked up about 4 viewers in the last half hour, 15 minutes, and I'm on the air here, right?
Do you think that because people, when they subscribe, now you hit the bell and then you get notifications. And if you don't hit the bell again, you don't get notifications. So maybe people, this is an earlier show.
What hit the bell? I don't understand what you mean.
On your YouTube, there's a thing that asks you to subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little bell. So you hit the bell and that gives you that. You hit the subscribe button, and you're subscribed. There's a little bell to the right now that if you hit it, then a mark goes around the bell, and it gives you notifications. So now this is a new process with YouTube. So I'm thinking that most people that subscribe to this channel didn't have the notifications that this new one does.
No, well, everybody go and hit that bell. I don't see that because as the person who runs the channel, I don't see my subscribe button.
I see.
I think the viewers know that there's at least 50% conservatives on the show now. So it has escalated, has uplifted your viewership.
Oh, yeah. SG, if I remember correctly, is a conservative.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, what you may want to do is tell people to go to your YouTube channel for Gabnet and touch that bell, so that they'll get notifications, and it'll probably increase your thing.
Yeah,
your viewership.
Yeah, it's a lot to do. You know.
Touch my bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ring bell, I think it was.
Yeah. Ring my bell.
Well, no, I remember you were conservative, right, SG?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I knew there was a reason I hated you.
I don't know if I'm conservative. I just want less government. I don't know what they call that.
Well, no, less government is anarchy, and I'm all for that.
I'm good.
Yeah, but how come you love regulation?
No, I don't love regulation.
There isn't a regulation you wouldn't go for.
What?
I mean, you know, all the regulations that your friend Obama put.
I don't like regulations. I always hated the rules and regulations, for instance, the FCC imposed on broadcasters. I mean, on broadcasters and what they could do and what they couldn't do.
So you just
if I want to say fuck on the radio and upset a whole bunch of people who will never listen to me again, that's my right. But let me make the choice, not you as a government. Don't tell me what I can say and can't say. Thank you very much. I'll be here all night. Okay.
No joke string.
No, but I'm an anarchist, and I think anarchy would be the perfect way to run this country. The only problem is that most people haven't learned how to be anarchist, and there is, if you're an anarchist, if you're a true anarchist, you believe that people have to be more responsible. You know, and you get what I'm saying. In other words, in a true anarchy, you would not have a stoplight at an intersection. People would know what to do just by decency.
Kind of like Republicans that say you should be more responsible for your own actions and consequences.
But the trouble is that most conservatives believe in that sort of thing up to a point. They believe in it where it affects them personally, but they at the same time they will then try and march into California and stop them from smoking pot. Well,
that's the liberals that would stop us from owning guns.
No, not stopping from owning guns. Stopping people who are dangerous from owning guns.
That's the excuse they're using now. But as soon as they get rid of the dangerous ones,
I don't see owning a gun as a right. Okay, I'm sorry. You can say all you want about the fucking Constitution, which was written by.
All right, here's an argument you might understand.
Okay.
So Alex,
say it slow though.
In San Francisco, people want to go naked, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, let us have our rights. So then, and the same thing is, let us have our rights, but hey, D.C., you tell all the states what to do. How do you say when someone says, let us do what we want to do, but then we want someone at a different place who's not in control of our state tell us what to do?
Mm-hmm.
Or city.
Explain that.
Yeah, because it's legal, I think, to be nude in public in San Francisco, but I don't think it would be in another city in the same state.
But hey, you guys, President Obama, you need to tell the rest of all the states what to do. Yet we want. Do you understand the argument here?
I get what you're trying to say, but now
you can't have it both ways. I mean, why are we? We're liberal, we want this, but hey, you guys tell everyone what to do. Because we don't trust.
Well, wait a minute.
We don't trust our leaders of our states what to do. We need a higher authority who we believe in to tell us what to do.
Okay, well, like let's say people wanted to run around naked. I don't see that. I don't see that as being anything terrible. Some of it would be upsetting only because
it's not a terrible thing, but it's a thing of freedom. Like, we want our freedom, yet.
All right. Let me give you a.
Tell all of us what to do.
Jeff.
Yeah, look, I live in Oxford, Connecticut, whatever that means. But I bet you there's a lot of people who don't want people walking around naked. Okay, so they can create a rule that says naked is not permitted outside of your house in Oxford.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with that. Do you?
Well, here's what I would say about it. I find nothing wrong with nudity. Quite frankly, I think we make too big a deal out of it, you know. But you are living in a society, and you have to be respectful of the people around you. And some people might, hold on a second, let me finish. People might be upset by public nudity. And so I don't run around naked in my apartment house in the courtyard, because I know there's some people who would be upset by that. Not because I don't think that I shouldn't be able to, but that I live in a society and I realize that one of the things I don't want to do is make other people feel uncomfortable.
The law in San Francisco is that if you want to walk around naked, you can't sit down on a park bench or a bench without putting something under your tush.
Well, I would say that that's a good rule, but
Yeah.
that's what we would call a good decorum, you know.
You also have to wear one piece of clothing. So there's two naked guys in their 60s in the Castro every weekend, and they wear socks on their feet.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they walk around with socks on their feet, totally naked, and they sit in restaurants and put little doilies on the chairs.
I mean,
No shoes?
It's disgusting.
I mean, we put way too much of a value on on
I've seen them
or on nudity, and saying that nudity is horrible, or we might see a man's penis or a woman's
That's
vagina.
not the point. That's not the point.
Yeah,
The point is you want, hey, let us do what we want, but then you say, let DC control the rest of the people. It's just crazy.
Well, you're talking about states' rights. You believe in states' rights.
Exactly.
Okay, but states' rights don't apply to everything. States' rights, you can't just say, we want slavery again, so we're going to have slavery.
Okay, I'll give you a problem with
They want slavery.
I'll give you one problem. One problem with states' rights, okay, is that I agree. I think states and local communities, in fact, forget about the states. Local communities should be able to determine for themselves what their needs are and what's acceptable in their community. However, I don't like. The thing I don't like about states' rights is that in California, marijuana is legal. In the state next door to, well, I don't know, is Nevada now?
Arizona. Yeah, it's legal.
Arizona, it's still illegal. So you can't take it to Arizona. So you get busted, thrown in jail, spend time in prison for having it in Arizona. But if you go right across the line into California, hey, you're cool. Now there's something wrong with that. We need to have laws which are consistent across the country. What?
You're not exactly cool, because there's a national law that says.
Well, that's the other problem.
Yeah.
That's the other problem. There's a national law. But national law should not overreach a state law. But the fact is that you've got Sessions and the FBI and the DEA and people like that trying to keep banks from taking money from people who make money off of marijuana in Colorado and California and the states in which it's legal. And I find that wrong, because they're doing it to put pressure and the squeeze on them. You know, the residents of those states said, we want marijuana legal for recreational use. If people sell it, they should be able to take the proceeds after a day's work to the bank where the money is safe, instead of having to hire a guard to guard all the money they've got stacked in infinite amounts of vaults in their on their premises.
I want coffee legal for recreational use, and I'm going to go get a cup and protest my right to drink.
I'm sorry, you
coffee.
can't leave and do it. We will not allow it.
It's not good for your heart.
Yeah, it's not good for your heart. But no, you know. So I mean, I know what you're trying to say, SG, and to a great extent, I feel that. Quite frankly, you know, I don't like the way the drug laws are now. I think that all drugs should be available to people, and with a warning. Some of them with a prescription from their doctor, but they should all be available. I think a heroin addict, and they're proposing this in New York City right now, that a heroin addict should be allowed to have places to go shoot up where they're safe, and where in case they overdose, there are people there who can take care of them when that happens, rather than have. Well, you wince, SG, but what's the other side of this? The people die. You know, how do you save lives? Yes, Jeff.
Wasn't it in was it Portugal or Spain that they made? I think it was Portugal that they made heroin totally legal. Remember that?
I know. I know in the Netherlands that the government will give people heroin if they're addicted, until they're ready to get off of it, so that they know that they're getting quality heroin, so that they can live a normal life and go to work and everything. And then they'll help them get off of it when they want to get off of it.
Yeah,
they actually
I'm
give
having
them
trouble
heroin.
getting Brian on here. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Hello, Brian.
I don't know if it's Portugal or not.
England, I think, had a heroin program.
I have a heroin. It's my wife.
I believe Portugal legalized heroin.
So it's legal, but you can just go buy it anywhere, like with pot here.
I don't know what the regulations is.
Oh, okay.
But I know that. I know that Portugal was.
Do you speak Portuguese?
No.
Oh, it's treated as a medical. Yeah, it's treated as a medical issue, just like in the Netherlands. It says here. That just makes a lot more sense. They don't send people to prison for it. They treat it as a medical issue.
No, I don't think you should send people to prison for that, for being a user. You know, let them go to work, attach their wages, have wages, part of their wages go for rehabilitation centers, and then you accomplish two things.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Heroin fries your body. Come on.
Well,
we're not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying I don't want people. Problem is, if you buy it on the street.
Well, I will disagree with you, SG, that it fries your body.
It used to be a medicine.
As a matter of fact,
how many people do you know who are heroin users that are alive?
Oh, quite a few. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people who lived. Wait a minute, who lived long enough and matured out. Do you know about maturing out?
Yeah, wait
a minute. Hold on a second. I'm going in a direction here, and you're taking me off of it. Do you know what maturing out is, SG? It's people when they've been using heroin for a certain amount of time. I think it may be like 20 years. For some reason, one day they wake up and they don't do it anymore. They just what they call mature out. I knew a guy who was a heroin addict, one of the biggest heroin addicts I ever knew. And today he's clean as a rail, and his name is Dr. John, Mac Rebenak.
Good for him. I've had people shoot up in front of me plenty of times, and people are dead.
Well,
so there are stories.
And why are they dead? Why are they dead? Tell me.
I think that they took it to a level that was beyond where their body could handle it.
Okay, why don't we? I think that probably the reason why your friends had that problem, okay, was because they didn't know what they were getting. In other words, hold on a second. There are two things that happen here. There is no strength control because you don't know what the strength of the heroin is that you're using is. It's not a regulated dose. And secondly, it usually has a lot of substances in it which are corrosive to the system and actually do the real killing because it's not.
I would agree with that.
So what would happen if you legalized heroin is you would be able to regulate the dosage and the purity of the stuff that people were getting.
People cut marijuana with stuff too, so I agree with you on that.
Marijuana is not the same thing, though.
Buds.
What?
What's that?
But on the marijuana, don't they get these buds? So it's all marijuana.
What do you mean? So it's all marijuana?
Well, SG said they cut it. What do they cut it?
Regular? No, when the people sell it, not from the government, not from the farms of Colorado or Washington or now California. When you buy a key, it used to be a key which is 2.2 pounds.
Yeah.
You would take a key and then you would cut that, and you would either have stems that you would sell to people who didn't know crap about marijuana, or you would sell it to people who knew stuff about marijuana, and you put stuff in it that made it more potent, so that they would buy that.
Wait a minute. They used to tell me. They used to tell me that the stems and the seeds were the highest quality.
No.
And that's they were selling it to me.
They were selling you the same.
No, it's the buds.
That's because you're a cop.
Yeah.
That was long before that.
No, if you got your pot and there were too many stems and seeds in it, you wanted your money back.
Right.
I just want to know what the handle is.
Just say how many fingers.
But all I'm saying is that like our president, for instance, we have an opiate crisis, and we got to do away. We got to arrest people, and we got to do this, and we got to do that. No, what you've got to do is you've got to make sure that if they're going to get this stuff, that they're not going to overdose on it. You want to know something? I'll tell you something interesting. When my wife has to take stuff for her back, and it's some heavy duty stuff. Okay. When we went and got it at Walgreens under our Express Scripts program, they said, here, we're giving you a free inhaler of Narcan. And we said, what for? And they said, well, because my wife said, well, I'm not going to overdose because I don't overdo it. And they said, no, that's not what we're worried about. We're worried that you forgot you took it and so you take another one. Okay? And then you might need this. Narcan has been a lifesaver. Every home should have Narcan, whether you're a drug user or not. You don't know when somebody isn't going to be in your house, and suddenly they're going to overdose, and you're going to be able to save their life with this stuff. Just one shot up the nostril. What?
The big problem nowadays is the propofol.
Propofol,
or whatever it is. They're getting that laced in the heroin nowadays, and the people on the street don't know it, and they're taking too much of it, and they're getting their ass knocked on the ground.
Wait a minute, how do they do that?
That's what they gave me.
How do they do that with propofol? Propofol is a liquid.
Yeah, but it gets laced onto the heroin, and the heroin they inject it, and they don't know how much they're getting, and that stuff is so strong that they end up on their ass, and they don't know what's going on.
Does propofol survive once it evaporates?
It's in the heroin. It's in the heroin.
It does remain in the heroin? I did not know that.
Yeah.
There's a problem here in Silicon Valley with just your average Joe who's addicted to opioids, can't get it on the prescription anymore, goes out on the street and gets heroin and overdoses. And it's happened quite a few times. And the heroin is laced with all kinds of crap, and it kills him. It's happened a bunch of times here.
Santa Cruz is really bad.
Yeah.
The guy I had dinner with tonight is really into marijuana. And he goes to Colorado, or he had been going to Colorado to get. And what ended up, I asked him tonight some of the questions you were talking about yesterday. And he said that he had seen a documentary that was done in Colorado that opioid use was down because of marijuana, and that DUIs were down 20%. Because I said, that was Alex's question: is did DUIs go down when there was more smoking marijuana? This is a guy.
My question more was the report that I saw with Lester Holt, where somebody said he was talking to a cop, and the cop said, yeah, I arrest more and more people who are driving high on marijuana. But he didn't ask him, have the number of people who you're arresting who are drunk gone down, it should be a question he should have asked. But, of course, Lester Holt is a dweeb and doesn't ask the right questions.
My friend said that based on what he saw, it was he couldn't remember where he saw it, but I believe him to be telling the truth. He said that DUIs were down in Colorado, that opioid deaths were down, and he's the kind of marijuana smoker that he could function completely normal on pot.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's one of the people I was talking about who could compensate 100% for the use of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
I mean, a lot of people who are addicted to opioids and the other one, like clonazepam and all that stuff, they're using marijuana to help them as they're getting off of it.
Yeah, he said that too. Yeah.
And it works for some people and it doesn't work for others, but it does work for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than drinking.
Can they use that marijuana oil that it's a pill or something you take? And
Well, it's like a tincture. You put it under your
CBD.
tongue. Yeah, you can get you can get pure CBD hemp, which has almost no THC in it, or you can get like 20-to-1 CBD to THC tincture you can put under your tongue.
Yep.
And that will help you if you're getting off these drugs.
In the new laws in California, because I'm not there, I'm here in New York, where the only way you can get it is you have to have cancer.
Huh? Or go to California.
Well, no, I'm saying that out in California is the marijuana. Is there a law about how strong it can be, or is it just the Wild West that way?
It's the Wild West. And I'll tell you, and the other thing in California, now that it's legal for everyone, they're charging about 20% tax.
Yeah.
Unless you go to the county with your doctor's prescription, wait in line, and get a tax exemption, and you have to go in person.
Yeah.
So now California is making out like a bandit now.
Yeah.
Are they getting paid in cash?
No, you can use credit card, whatever.
Well, yeah, but you can't buy the stuff. Because the banks won't.
I've bought it with a Visa.
Really?
Yeah.
So why can't these marijuana outlets deposit the money in a bank? If it's going into a Visa, then it's got to be going into their bank account.
Not necessarily. I think the way they solved the problem in Arizona, in Colorado, was the bank. What do you call it?
Credit union.
The credit unions aren't regulated by the government, and so therefore they could take the money and put it in their banks, and that's probably what's happening in California.
This is a big boom for credit unions.
Oh, it's a great boom for credit unions, but I mean, I think that it's wrong that, again, I talk about this disparity of the government and the state. That these people can't just walk into a bank and give them their money, because it is a legal business in California, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, I believe, as well now.
Did you hear the report yesterday that the tax revenues were projected to be $175 million in the state of California, and they ended up being $20 million? So their revenues weren't as high as they thought it would be.
Well,
there's also a problem down here in Monterey County. That they're complaining that the taxes have gotten so high that they're actually trying to back off of the taxes, because some of these dispensaries and whatnot are getting taxed so high that they're actually starting to go under.
Yeah.
So they're trying to back off on the tax.
Brian has his hold on a second. Brian has his hand up. Yes, Brian.
I just wanted. Can you hear me, first of all?
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since I've been online, and I just want to make sure the equipment's working. All right. Regarding the credit union and the whole banking incongruency, I wonder if part of that has to do with the fact that a lot of these banks, like Bank of America and even PNC in my hometown, they deal interstate, from state to state to state.
Yes.
There's still a majority of the states that don't legalize marijuana, even for medicinal purposes. If that has something to do with why the businesses in Colorado, California, or Alaska, or whatever can't deposit into federally.
That's exactly what it is.
Are credit unions not national, or it can't be cross state lines?
No,
they're usually local type. Interstate.
You're saying credit unions are usually local type?
Well,
yeah.
No,
yes.
Let's say Patelco, which is I guess that's Pacific Telephone. That they have a credit union.
Yeah, that's for their employees. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well,
they're probably not.
But they're
probably within a state.
But banks are federally insured, so
and
by the federal government. So that's
multiple
why
states. So that money crosses state lines.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that to think
maybe it's because of the feds. That the Jeff Sessions and all this stuff, those other gaggle of ghouls and assholes. They're what's tying up the.
Their money's not going to cross state lines.
Yeah, no. Says the pig fucker. Chief pig fucker. Head of the Justice Department pig fucker. Wink,
If
wink.
you think money's going to cross state lines,
I just touched a raw nerve with me.
daughter's not going to cross state
Jefferson
lines,
Bear
not going to come over the
Fishers.
wall.
And you look.
That sheep looks mighty fine. I think I'll fuck it up the ass. Fuck you. You troll-looking motherfucker.
Hey, where have you been
Like a
all
lizard.
months, Brian?
What's that?
Where have you been all these months? Don't they let you on the air when you're on home arrest? Or
Home arrest. House arrest. No, not quite. I've been, like I said, I've been job searching, and then being so late, my natural sleep cycle. I'm usually asleep by 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Oh, I am too.
And I don't know. I just doing other shit.
Yeah.
The show I do,
Even if that other shit entails me sitting in front of a television screen playing video games in my spare time, that's I kind of lose track of time that way as well.
Yeah. But I just think that, again, this all started with SG talking about states' rights, and the fact that the fact is that the Republicans, the conservatives, are all for states' rights until they don't want them. I mean,
Until their ox is gored.
Then why is Jeff Sessions going into California trying to stop the whole pot thing? It was legally passed by the public. There you go. Okay, that's states' rights. They have the right to do that.
Marijuana or a woman wanting to have an abortion after the third trimester.
Hold it. So was Proposition 187. So was all these propositions that eliminated the unequal rules for minorities.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them a leg up. These things were propositions that were voted on by the people, but they were taken down by one liberal judge. 187, there was another proposition in California.
By one liberal judge.
One liberal judge.
One liberal judge.
There's a difference. There's a difference between states' rights and when they conflict with federal and constitutional mandates. There's a difference.
Well, a state can't can't pass a law which violates the Constitution.
Oh,
that's
of course
granted.
They do. What do you call sanctuary cities?
That doesn't violate the Constitution. How does that violate the Constitution?
Do you know what does a sanctuary city do?
It gives people sanctuary who are running. Maybe they came to this.
Do they or do they not prohibit the working together with ICE?
That's fine. I'm all for that.
Do they or do they not?
Yeah, but ICE operates so illegally at times that they need to be slowed down a little bit.
Times. And you're making up stuff.
No, I'm not making up stuff. ICE is a vile, horrible organization.
Vile, horrible. Are you kidding
because
me?
they're protecting our rights.
They're ripping children away from mothers and fathers. They're
Wait
ripping
a minute.
fathers away.
Let's take that out of the equation just for a second.
Oh, well, let's keep it in there. Wait a minute. Let's keep it in the equation, SG.
Let's just say those kids in your house.
These people have broken the law.
But let me
What
agree
Jeff
with
said,
you.
exactly.
Let me agree with you, Alex, just for a second.
Yeah.
Let me say you're correct.
Yeah.
Let's say, okay. Now, all the people who are women and children and families are okay. What about the rest of the people?
Mm-hmm.
Can they, with ICE, be in these cities, have ICE and work with them such that they bring these criminals out of this country?
No, but you're saying they're all criminals. They're not going. Wait a minute. Hold on a second, SG. They're not just going after criminals. Are you going to tell me? 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 Are you going to tell me?
I've taken away your baby debate. I've taken away your mother debate. I'm talking about people who are criminals who we want to get out of the country.
But how many?
Those people are in the criminal justice system. They've been released by the sheriff's department for crimes that they've done. They're awaiting a court date, and they're supposed to report
would both
to ICE.
of you please stop?
None of these people have babies.
Stop drinking the Kool-Aid for a moment. This isn't
Here,
Jonestown.
I'll throw the baby out of the.
Come on.
No more babies.
The hatred.
People.
The point I'm trying to make here, SG, is that you're assuming that most of the people who are here as illegal aliens are criminals, and most
xenophobic
Hey,
racists.
if they came here,
do you know in the state of Texas? I can send you a link, and I sent it to one of your folks in another venue. That there are over 600,000 crimes from 2011 to 2018 from illegal aliens.
Oh bullshit!
Now this is from the Department.
Is one of them.
Huh? This is DHS. This is within the state of Texas only. I can send you that. Now you can
wait a
either say
minute, wait a minute, and who
you can say this is bullshit.
Well, wait a minute, who gave it?
But it includes rape, it includes murder, it includes all this stuff. And these people, it's a graph put by if you're a big government guy, then you will love this.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. SG.
He wants to know who put out the information.
Yes.
I'll send it to you right now. Hold on.
I don't want to be sent. I don't want it to be sent to me because we're doing a show here and people are listening and they want to know as well.
Talk amongst yourself. I'll find it.
They're posted on Facebook, posted on the Gabnet Group Facebook page.
All right.
Yeah, but if he does that, it's still it's not going to serve the purpose of what's happening here and what people want to have knowledge of.
This is such bullshit because you don't know that regular Americans aren't killing other people at a higher rate than these
regular Americans.
Yeah,
hey,
how do you
Ray,
know
will you let him finish? Phil, will you let him finish first, please? Thank you.
I'm getting too emotional. Alex, this is...
Go ahead,
I'm
Ray.
sorry,
no, you're
man.
making a good point, Ray.
Okay. What is the rate at which Americans are killing Americans or just other people versus these criminals coming into the country from Mexico that, for instance, Trump talked about in his State of the Union address, the gangsters, the gangster invasion. I mean, do you actually believe this shit?
I will agree with you that the local people who are not illegals do more crime. I will agree with you. That is true. That's a true statement. That ends up being primarily a true statement. However, do we want more crime? This is about more crime. I will agree with you. And stats, they're here and there, but I'll just agree with you. I will agree with you on this point because I've looked at it, and it's kind of one of these things that's squishy, and people can't say this or that, but it's more. Yes, I agree with you. But do we want more crime? Do we want more crime? We don't want more crime.
So, but you want them to be able to come in legally, so that if they came in legally, you believe they wouldn't commit crimes.
Not to the level that the gangs and drug dealers.
Wait a minute.
And,
why couldn't the drug people in the gangs apply here?
Well, you remember when Fidel Castro released
and by the
his
way,
jails and the amount of crime that came to San Francisco? The gay guys that were getting killed by.
You're not only engaging in whataboutism, you're engaging in two entirely different set of circumstances.
If the criminals that are in Mexico and in Central America and other countries are going to pour across
what about the average person who's seeking asylum in this country because he thinks he can find a better way of life
There's
here?
a method for them to seek
asylum.
No,
there isn't, Phil. There are quotas. There are quotas, and they make you jump. They make you jump through.
I got the stats from the New York Times. I got it from the New York Times.
Hold on a second. Everybody. First.
New York Times is a liberal rag.
Okay, first SG. Yeah,
I got the stats. The Texas Department of Public Safety, over 251,000 criminal aliens have booked into Texas jail between 2011 and 2018. During their criminal careers, these criminal aliens were charged with more than 663,000 criminal offenses. So you know what? I was wrong. I was on the low end.
Okay. Now let me ask you this question: what are the offenses, and how many of them did Arpaio arrest?
Okay.
Arpaio's
so
not in Texas. He's in
there
Arizona.
are
Wherever.
weapons, sexual assault, robbery, obstructing police, theft, kidnapping, drugs, burglary, assault.
And that's
homicide.
how many cases of that?
600.
There were on weapons. There were 9,000 of people who were arrested, and in convictions there were over 4,000.
Let me tell you.
Sexual,
Let me tell you
sexual
something.
assault.
I lived.
There were 7,156.
Okay, where are you getting? And where are you getting? Hold on a second.
3,300.
Hold on. SJ.
Got it from the Texas state government.
I'm confused. I am looking at a chart right here that says from Texas data right here in front of me, and it's completely opposite of what you're saying. Crime has gone down considerably.
I'm looking at a government which Democrats should just embrace. The DPS.
Hey, listen. Hey, SG. I worked in Texas for couple of years. And I got to tell you, I uncovered something just alone in the Houston Police Department where on Tuesday nights they were holding Ku Klux Klan meetings, okay? So don't tell me about Texas fucking justice.
What do you mean, don't tell you? What year was that?
Laws.
1922? I'm talking about 2011.
I got out of town. I got out of town 2 days before. They knew that.
Either you accept it or you reject it.
I reject it because I know how Texas justice is, and I know what they do. I know that, for instance, I got out of town 2 days before the police were going to plant pot on me and arrest me because I had this information about these Ku Klux Klan.
How do you know they didn't want to part with you?
What stats do you accept?
What?
What stats do you accept?
Ray's got some stats from Texas that completely go against yours.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't have any government stats.
Then listen to Ray.
Look at him.
Wait a minute.
Let's listen to it then, for God's sake.
The headline is "The Myth of Criminal."
Will you let Ray answer my question here, Phil? By filibustering, neither of you are going to win this argument. I would like Ray calmly to tell us.
He doesn't have any stats. He has an article.
Come on, God damn it.
You don't see the stats in the middle of the page?
Sort of.
You posted them.
Sort of?
They say
graph.
Less crime.
New York Times.
Dots.
Yeah.
They're telling me that in 136 metro areas, almost 70% of those studied, the immigrant population increased from 80 to 2016, while crime stayed stable or fell. But that's a statement. It's not a statistic. You know,
it's what?
It's just a statement, and that could be.
No, it's not. The stats are on the bottom. Look further down. Most areas experience decreases in all types of violent crime. The change in assault rates ranged from 34% decline to a 29% rise, while robbery rates declined in the range of 12% to 57%, and murder rates declined in the range of 15% to 54%. I mean, it's all. What are you talking about? There's a graph down on the bottom.
I see some graphs that look like my hair.
We see what happens. What happens, Phil, when you're conservative? When you're conservative. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
When you talk about
the Marshall Project.
No, you talk about decline. You can talk about decline all you want, but when you have sexual assault and you're talking about over 3,300 convictions, over 7,000 people who have been arrested, you can talk about decline.
And all of these.
You can prove stats.
SG.
You can prove anything you want.
SG, listen to me.
But I have actual convictions where families are impacted and there's crimes being committed.
This used to be my show. No, all I'm saying, SG, is are these all Hispanics?
It says immigrants, right?
Immigrants. What kind of immigrants?
Criminal aliens.
No. Ray had to go. Ray could not take it, and I agree with him. You know.
Well, of course, I shut him down. Criminal.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. All right.
Texas
SG,
criminal alien.
Okay. We heard you, SG. We heard you. Ray, call back, will you, please?
All right,
I need
Ray,
you.
I love you, man.
I'll write him. Let me get my phone.
I need Ray's. What can I call it?
I'll be quiet from
his
now on.
Sanity. What do you think? We have Brian here. Brian, you were kind of giving snarky looks to this discussion.
I just, I wanted to hear, Ray had some information from Texas as well that was contradicting what SG had to say. And I wanted to hear what that source was that Ray had from Texas, not from the New York Times, but from Texas.
Yeah. Ray, if you're still listening out there, please call back. I really would love to.
Maybe he left because he had other shit to do.
No, he left because he is very passionate, and I think he felt that. By the way, SG, all we can see is that from your nose upward. Can you move your camera a little bit so we see it? There we go. Oh boy, I thought I was looking like Kilroy was here. Where are you from, by the way, SG? Where are you calling from?
Yonder.
Yonder. Well, I mean, like where in the country?
Texas.
That doesn't matter.
Huh?
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter. This is your show.
No.
We're all about you, Alex.
No, we're not all about me. Obviously,
we're all about
if
you.
we were all about me, I would have gotten a word in edgewise. All I'm saying is that, who is it that said there? I think it was maybe Will Rogers. There are statistics in there, and there are damn statistics. Statistics can be skewed in any particular manner that people want to skew them. I can probably get somebody to go into the Texas situation and skew what they're saying completely the other way.
Sure.
But Ray, if you're out there, please call back. I'm begging you. I'm begging you to call back. I don't like to see anybody go away upset on this program because
except me,
except you. But you can take a punch. That's
I've driven other people away too, so I apologize.
Yeah. Oh no, it's okay. Sometimes. I wanted to create something called a no Trump zone, but Alex wasn't going for it. I just thought people were tired.
Well, we haven't talked about Trump tonight. We didn't talk about him last night.
Yeah, but same stuff,
What do you mean same stuff? We're talking about drug laws here in this country, And
but it did delineate to immigration and illegal, whether they're illegal immigration and whether or not they should be locked up and thrown away to key on or rehabilitated, kind of. And that's
Brian,
what Trump has been.
But you see,
he has
infiltrated
our cerebral cortex.
I agree with SG that war crime is.
You know what you're saying? You know what you're saying, Phil? You know what you're saying, Phil?
Yeah, I'm saying that we have enough crime already. We don't need any more on top of it.
If you lived in pre-war Germany, those are the same statistics you hear about Jews.
No, because the Jews were living in Germany and they were German citizens.
You would hear about Jews that they were robbing and they were stealing and that they were vermin and they were portrayed in animation as rats and that and there was the xenophobia that was created surrounding the Jews and then they rounded them all up and killed 6 million of them.
I'm going to make a sign saying conflating.
Those Jews were relatives of mine, and so maybe it was true.
Anyway, there are elements of truth in every stereotype.
SG's running off to make up a sign saying conflate. We can spell it right. Anyway,
not without Siri's help.
That's one thing the left needs to embrace and run with. Those stereotypes do exist for a reason.
What did I read today? That scientists have found that people can get your Siri to do stuff without talking to it. There are certain sounds. There we go. Conflate. Okay. Cornflakes. That's what it says, right? Cornflakes?
Cornflakes.
Oh, I see.
Kellogg's cornflakes.
Wait a minute. Here comes Ray.
Make another sign that reads deflect.
Now, everybody be respectful to Ray, okay?
Everybody should be respectful to everybody.
Yeah, there's Ray. Ray, I hate to see it go away like that because I don't want to see anybody's feelings hurt, No,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I need to grow up. I just had to go loofah my stretch marks and shoot up. I forgot my heroin this afternoon.
Yeah. When you don't have when you're jonesing, you can't do a good job of arguing.
I smoked a bong and that helped my heroin.
There's a guy, Melvin Van Peebles, and he had a song.
I knew Melvin Van Peebles.
The father?
Yeah.
He said, you go from one bag a day to two to three. Pretty soon, you're giving rich old dude head in limousines too. I put a curse on you. Had to do with, and that was the name of the song. I put a curse on you. Yeah.
And what does that have to do with the discussion?
Well, it has to do with heroin. I was talking about heroin, and he had to go shoot up.
Yeah, I can't tell the amount of times
I've done that myself. I call them pleasurable digressions.
Yeah, you see, he gives blowjobs. He's the only one here, only guy you can accuse of a
I didn't refer to pleasurable digressions in that context, but since you bring it up, yes, I do. For those of you who don't know who I am, in the number of months I've been absent, yes, I am a homosexual.
Yes.
Still, you haven't changed, Brian?
You haven't been cured?
If anything, I take that back, Jeff. If that was you, Jeff, or if that was right, that was you. Anyway, if anything, I've inching more towards asexuality.
Is that just because you can't get laid?
That's because I can't stand people enough to want to get laid. But a little bit of that too. I'll admit. I mean, I don't look as thin as I did when I was 25 or 26. I'm now 36, but still, I hate people.
Yeah,
they sicken me.
Jeff's getting a good kick out of this.
We're a group.
Well, I'm talking in like marches and rallies and shit. I'm talking also not just the right, not just like the Charlottesville, alt-right. I'm talking like the Antifa people and their group think and how they let things get out of hand. Both sides,
Yeah.
I hate people.
Good.
That's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Because it is easy to
people are pretty mean.
Mob mentality.
Yeah.
Mob.
People get disgusting. But anyway.
That's why I like animals as much as I do.
Well,
I will say this. I have a GOP confession. So when Obama did the nationwide everyone can get married, I posted on Facebook, I'm coming out of the closet, and I came out of the closet for this guy I knew who was a 22-year-old, and a bunch of people said this and that, and I just said, look. You know what? I'm coming out. I support this person. I know this person, and that's the end. Either you are, you can unfriend me or whatever, but that's the deal. I came out for them.
You came out as an ally.
And that is my confession.
Well, you can't. You say you came out for them. By the way, we can't see your whole face now.
A straight ally.
Yeah, I use the.
Do whatever you want.
I just use I'm coming out.
Yeah.
For this person.
And you're thinking on that, Brian?
Well, what I'm thinking of is, a number of gay conservatives that I've known personally, and that we hear about in the media. Of course, we hear more flamboyant, obnoxious gay conservatives, namely Milo Yiannopoulos. But
well, what do they call them?
They are out there.
Are you saying, SG? Were you saying that you're gay?
I don't think so.
I don't think he was.
No, you were.
I'm saying I'm happy, but not gay.
Oh, okay.
For my friend.
I see. Okay, good. I wanted to.
I support him. And one of the things was that really kind of pissed me off was that I knew this person from church, and the church that we're in is conflicted, not conflated, but conflicted.
Conflicted.
And it, just everyone who has had this person in their life, just support them. Just do it.
Yeah, that's.
Because what the hell does it matter? That person does, because I don't know. The guy is a good guy. And whatever he does, I don't care. Whenever I see him, I hug him. And I'm going to see him tomorrow because his grandmother died. And I don't give a flip.
Now, SG, I got to ask you this. That's conflated, not cornflaked or cornholed.
It's Kofifi.
Kofifi. Yeah.
No, a word that is yet to be
I laugh at my
defined.
own jokes because if I don't laugh at them first, if I don't think they're funny, how the fuck do I expect anyone else to?
Well, no.
And even if anybody else doesn't think they're funny, at least I
I've been
find them
making
funny.
jokes for 4 years. Nobody laughs.
Corn something.
Corn
something.
Corn.
legs, corn
Your
hole,
corn. Went by too fast. Corn syrupy.
Corn syrupy. Yeah. Just corn
cornucopia.
something. Corn something.
Oh, corn something. I see.
Hey, Brian.
Cornholio, like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead.
Brian, I've been making jokes on this show for 4 years, and nobody laughs.
Oh, I've been been witness to them for almost a year of those 4 years.
Yeah, there's a good reason for that. You know.
I don't give a fuck. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you have no comedical sense.
Comedical.
Whatever.
Comedical.
It's nuclear.
Comedical.
It's a nuclear thing.
Commutical.
Yeah. Anyway, where were we?
We were at the Koreans
Roughly.
coming home. The Americans coming home from Korea is where we were at.
Yeah, and incidentally, Trump getting up at 2:00 in the morning to greet them.
Too.
Yeah.
And Melania. I think they held hands.
And she probably had to get up at 10 to make both of them to make up, so they're ready for the event.
Oh, Alex, he got up at 2 because he was checking their passports because all the ICE guys are down on the border. So.
Yeah. Listen, that getting those guys freed was an easy deal because it was the one thing that Kim Jong-un was keeping in his pocket, and then he just pulled it out when he needed it. And the president is a sucker for it. Yeah, here we'll give you these guys back. What does he care about giving those guys back? As I said, it's 3 less mouths to feed, and in Korea that's a lot.
Wait a minute. Okay, Alex. Here's the deal. What do people say when Pompeo goes over there? Oh, he came back empty-handed the first time. Then he comes home.
Nobody said he came back empty-handed.
Wait, hold on.
No.
Yeah, the first time. Yes.
No.
And then
Nobody said he
comes home. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Then he comes home, and then they say, oh, he has 3 people. Then they say, oh, they're being suckered. He's being played. I mean, when does it end?
No. All I'm saying is that this was
congratulations.
This was an easy peacemaking deal for Kim Jong-un because he didn't care whether these guys were let go or not.
Nothing easy for him. He's fat. He's not attractive.
Well, neither is Pompeo.
It was,
I saw the two of them together, Pompeo and Kim Jong-un, and I couldn't figure out who. I couldn't figure out who was.
A sumo wrestling match. Pompeo would push him out of the circle.
Don't you think, wait a minute. Don't you think that Trump would have gotten, or that Kim Jong-un, by giving those detainees to Trump, that would have been a bigger feather in Trump's hat, and Trump might have given Un more concessions based on the fact that they released him to Trump. By releasing him to Pompeo, he doesn't have as much bargaining chips.
The easiest guy in the world to play is Donald Trump. All you got to do is flatter him, okay, and you'll get what you want out of him. You watch.
Doing that to Moon.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, they say that the South Korean president is the one who deserves the credit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
I would also give it to China because if you remember, Kim Jong-un took his little choo-choo train to Beijing, and he met with the Prime Minister of China, and then he came back, and all of a sudden, after he came back, he was far more conciliatory towards making amends and peace and so on. And I think what happened was the Chinese read him the riot act. If you don't straighten up, if you don't clear this thing up, we're not going to support you any longer. We're not going to send you the goods you need.
90% of the trade with North Korea is through China.
Okay, Ray has his hand up.
I was just going to say the same thing. You're both right. North Korea is completely dependent on China for their existence. China can dictate almost anything to North Korea,
and
they will behind the scenes. That's how China does stuff.
Trump met with Xi Jinping and asked him to negotiate this with North Korea. So Trump really instituted this thing during his meetings in Mar-a-Lago.
Trump didn't do shit. Everybody else did shit, and he's sitting around going, "Give me the Nobel Prize! I want the Nobel Prize." He always has somebody.
It was Moon. It was Moon who said that.
Well, I think
Moon should have it.
Huh?
Moon of Korea said Trump should get the Nobel Prize.
Oh, I can think of a lot of other people that should get it before him.
Hey,
Obama, for example.
I think Stormy Daniels should get the Nobel.
Hey.
That was ridiculous when Obama.
And that would really be. That would really.
I agree. It was ridiculous.
Obama even thought it was ridiculous.
What was ridiculous?
That he is winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, but he's the one that's floating the idea.
No, Obama.
Oh, Obama. Oh, yeah.
Obama, when he won the Nobel Peace Prize, he virtually said he didn't deserve it. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't feel like he deserved it, and he didn't.
Yeah.
I think it's she would be the Nobel guy.
Nobel.
China? You mean China's prime minister or president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm a little shit with names on this issue.
I give the what I would give the
XI and it's pronounced.
I would give the Nobel Peace Prize to this year, the White Helmets. You know who they are? The guys in Syria who are going into war zones and digging people out of rubble and saving their lives and the lives of children. Those people should get the Peace Prize.
Yeah.
And we do give the Peace Prize to groups. I mean,
exactly. I was just going to say that.
The Quakers got a Peace Prize, Nobel Peace Prize.
Hey, what do you think about the stuff that's going on between Israel and Iran right now? The troop movements in Syria of the Iranians. And the
you know what I think about it? Thank you very much, Donald Trump.
The bombings going on back and forth.
Thank you very much, Donald Trump.
Oh, no, wait. The Iranians didn't have to bomb.
Thank you very much, Donald Trump. Thank you very much, Donald Trump.
The Iranians did not have to bomb Israel or the Golan Heights.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Israel sent up the first rockets.
It was Alex, shouldn't we be saying thank you very much, Benjamin Netanyahu?
Yeah, we probably should say that. Thank you very much.
Criminal.
Yeah.
Well, he made his point.
Shady asshole.
He had hundreds of thousands of documents that made its point.
You're holding up signs, and a lot of people listening to this on the audio broadcast are far less than ever used to because they all watch the video now.
Yeah.
People listen. Two can play at this game.
What do you mean two can play at what
game?
Okay. So now Brian is going to start. EMS. What does that stand for? Eat my shit? What?
Emergency medical.
Eat my shit.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay. We're going to have dueling captions on this program.
Goddamn right you will, because I fight fire with fire.
Yeah. I don't know the meaning of the word fear. I fight fear with fear. What? What'd you say, Brian?
Kevin.
Kevin, rather. Kevin, what'd you say?
Getting me started or something.
I think you get Brian started, you're going to have a war.
Oh, we don't need to see more of your photographs tonight.
This is what I'm submitting next week.
You're going to do EMS. Have a picture of your...
That's pretty nice.
Have a picture,
Draw it.
There he goes.
Draw it.
EMS.
Well, I can't really draw a portrait of you. I don't have much to work with. How's that? Then if I have to draw a picture of a piece of shit, I might as well draw a portrait of you. But I don't have time for that because we have less than 12 minutes left.
Yeah. I mean, I just...
Glad I made an impact.
I'd say. On my bowels, if nothing else.
I think we're...
regular.
I'm so tired of the news now. I'm hardly paying attention to it. I just get my little headlines.
The Boy Scouts? Do you know that the Mormon Church has said we are cutting out of the Boy Scouts?
Now the Scouts.
And they are 20% of the Boy Scout total population.
Well, that's good. We're thinning out the Boy Scouts.
I thought the Boy Scouts changed their name to Scout.
It's now Scouts. And now
it's Scouts. The Mormon Church is leaving the Scouts.
Why? Because it went co-ed?
Yes. Because, they don't say.
But transgender, I think.
It's all that stuff.
I think any kid who wants to become a scout should be allowed to become a scout. I'll tell you about the fucking Mormons. I wanted to be a scout when I was a kid, and the local scout chapter was run by the Mormons, and they wouldn't let me in.
No, you're Jewish.
Because I was Jewish. Well, not because I was Jewish, because they hated me. They wouldn't let me. I guess because I wasn't not because I was Jewish, but because I wasn't a Mormon.
Because you wasn't a Mormon. Huh?
Yeah.
I was
When are you going to accept that it's your personality?
Never going to accept that because I have a charming, wonderful, warm personality.
Now, SG, when you ask me that question, I'll just say, yeah, I accept it's my personality. Get the fuck over it.
Hey, when
I'll start my own church. Yeah. I'll start my own scout organization. I'll start my own, cult. I don't give a fuck.
That's what the Mormon Church is doing. They're starting their own.
Yeah, they are a cult, just like all religions, including Judaism, Christianity, every one of them.
Yeah,
that's where I start pissing off everybody here.
I mean, the argument.
I don't care. I'm an atheist.
The argument is not about religion. The argument is that the scouts, who has a population of certain people, one of their biggest populations is the Mormon Church. It just happens.
Oh, it is about religion. You said it's not. It is. It's all about religion.
It's not about religion.
So you're saying that they're going to lose a lot of scouts because of this split?
I think so, yeah.
Goes against their ideological religious principles. Yeah, so it is about religion, or at least a significant part of.
I was told,
and their desire not to join the 21st century.
I was told that the reason women wanted to get into the Scouts was that it was more desirable to be an Eagle Scout, and they wanted to attain that rank.
Yeah.
So by letting them in, it was a more prestigious rank.
I happen to have 2 Gold Award-winning Girl Scouts as daughters.
My mother was in the Girl Scouts.
What is the Girl Scouts equivalent of the
Gold Award?
Gold Award. Yeah.
Gold Award. There are 5.4% of all Girl Scouts achieved Gold Award.
I wonder if the Girl Scouts won't go the way of the dinosaur in the ensuing years, like the Boy Scouts evidently are.
Well, in a way, they are.
I hope they do.
I'm big into the Girl Scouts.
No, but in a way, they are an anachronism. I mean, I think they're of another time. The Scouts.
Girl and Boy Scouts, they're of another time.
The Girl Scouts, you guys have nothing. You know nothing about Girl Scouts.
Tell us.
I mean,
tell us. I don't know anything about it.
It's the premier group within America that molds girls and their values, and it helps young girls grow into young women. I know.
So you don't think this co-ed scout organization can't accomplish that?
No.
And then some, considering the fact that they not only have to work with other young women, they have to work with other young boys and men and other people of various persuasions and ideologies.
I don't. At some point, we need to separate men and women. Everything doesn't have to be an some sort of
amalgamation.
Some sort of. Wait a minute. Hold on.
When their kids are going to do it anyway.
Everything doesn't have to be a
blob.
There, that works.
Blob. We don't need.
When their kids are going to do it anyway, they're going to separate them anyway.
Boy, I'll tell you, more paper has been used on this program today than ever in the history of this program.
But when you take women and men to fast food joints, they all wind up looking like bulbs anyhow.
Yeah.
This is a green show.
Yeah.
It was a green show.
Jeff, anything you want to say? Because you've been very quiet tonight. You've just been listening.
Well, that's what I smart. But I'm very happy that I got 4 granddaughters, and they seem to like me even though I'm a guy.
Yeah. And were they scouts?
No, but I was a scout.
Were you a scout, really?
Yeah.
On your honor? Do you... What is that? On my honor, whatever. To God...
Do my duty to God and my country.
God and my country. The God and my country part gets to me, actually.
I'm an Eagle Scout.
You really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
I was
make it
only
that far.
Stars.
And how many... how many of your
merit
troops? What do they call the head of the troop? The guys who are the head of the troops?
Scoutmaster.
How many scoutmasters did you have to blow for that?
It's 3.
Only
three.
Only three.
Under the tent table.
As an Eagle Scout, did you have to do a project or something?
Yeah, I did.
What was it?
The church, the Catholic church that we went to, the schools picked benches for lunch. There were like 30 of them were in shambles, so I repaired them all and painted them all and organized like 20 kids to do it over 3 weekends.
Oh, very nice.
And my daughter's doing her silver right now.
Yeah.
So, I guess you were happy to be an Eagle Scout, right?
Yeah, it was a great. I mean, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, maybe 1% attain that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a commitment. You got to get a ton of merit badges, which actually take many hours to earn. You know, I mean, you got to. My mom kind of pushed me, but yeah, I did it. I wanted to do it.
I heard someone say his daughter. I heard someone say his daughter's doing her silver.
Yeah, my daughter is. She was working in a park the last 2-3 nights.
Well, let me ask you this. Ray. You're an Eagle Scout.
Right.
On the other side of that is adulthood. All right. Did any of what you learned doing that carry over into your adulthood?
Oh yeah,
There were
perseverance, never quitting when you want when things get hard and you feel like you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in terms of the outdoors, I can camp, survive anywhere. I know like what to eat, what knots to tie, how to find. It also teaches you like common sense when you're in a difficult situation, especially in the wilderness or stuff like that. And I've had
I
to
got a
use it quite
scar
a
here
time.
from Boy Scouts. This scar right here was when I got from Boy Scouts.
You know what the Jewish
Fixing a
version-
knife.
You were Boy
the
Scout,
version
right,
of Eagle
Kevin?
Scout is making reservations.
Yeah. Brian, I assume you weren't a Boy Scout.
I tried it for a year. I didn't like it.
What didn't you like about it? You know,
people.
Oddly enough, I've been doing talk shows for 63 years of my life. Been doing shows. In all that time, I have never had a discussion with a bunch of people on scouting. So this
it's about time.
This is a first, absolute first. I mean, you know, I've got like 1, 2, 3 people here of the 6 who were scouts.
I was a Cub Scout.
You were a Cub Scout, so you were a scout too. I never got to be a scout, as I say, because
Cub is before boy.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is it? Bear Cub? What is that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cub Scouts. Cub Scouts. Cub Scouts.
Brownies are the girls, yeah.
Yeah, brownies are
Bear it's a donut.
Cub Scouts, and then what? Then,
Then Scientologists.
And Scientologists, yeah.
How many you guys still got your stuff, though?
Oh, hey, I've just looked. The time is starting to run out here. I better start running some kind of a version of my theme song. Wow, it's been quite a night. SG, you got to call more often. You piss the shit out of us. You know? Yeah.
Never again will I
likes
do
that.
this
Show the ladies out there your pecs again, or your muscle there. Look, there's a muscle for you. You can beat the crap out of me. Thank you, SG. Come back again and call us, will you? Maybe we can figure out where you're from some night. Jeff, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. That's Jeff Stein. He calls the show quite often. SG. Brian, want to hear from you more. Your outrage is something we cherish on this program, you know?
And I'll talk to your parole officer about getting you on the show a little more often. Okay?
And we can get those restraining orders. We can get those restraining orders lifted so you can go out after dark.
That would imply that I want to go after
I'm glad you
certain
came
people.
back. I don't like you to get upset because, quite frankly, you're a big asset to us when you're here, you know? And
no, I wasn't upset. I had to go looping my stretch marks, like I said.
Okay, and also we got to say goodnight to our good friend Kevin as well. It's been really terrific. And yes, what is that corn something corn with the corn with the something with the corn. Any children of the corn? Hey, children of the corn, give a big wave goodbye to everybody so they can see you and remember your faces. So if they see you in the street, they can go to the other side of that street. Bye. That's our gathering for this evening. Terrific show tonight, God, and very little Trump, and a lot of other stuff. And there is other stuff in this world to talk about, folks, and we try to get to it as well. I'm Alex Bennett. I'm getting everything ready for the next show, which happens to be Jack and Amy with The Intersection, followed at 1 o'clock in the morning with Connections. That's a program coming out of Florida, and they have a great show. And then tomorrow night, 9:30, it's Damien with The Exchange, and then at 10 o'clock, I'll be back, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye.